and what's not working for you. And if you're not ready to change, nobody's going to make you change. For me personally, I was ready to change because those coping skills weren't working for me anymore. Things I was going to say is the reason that I wanted to change so much is because I was tired of how my unhealthy coping skills was impacting my life. Not only impacting my life, but also impacting my relationships with other people. When I was abusing alcohol to numb out my feelings, it got to the point where it was affecting my relationship with my partner. We went through a struggle, and I'm not ashamed to admit that because my alcohol abuse, I was abusing alcohol so much. I wasn't an alcoholic, but I was definitely abusing alcohol. For me, personally, I went to AA for a good year and a half, and I abstained from drinking alcohol just to get my head back on straight and to learn how to effectively deal with my feelings. That worked for me. You know, as I said, you have to make your own decisions as to what will work for you. What my coping skills look like today versus what I used to use, I wanted to give you some examples so that you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Example, stress. Stress is a big one. I think stress is a big one for everybody. For me personally, what I used to do is I used food for comfort. I used to stuff my feelings, stuff my stress. Anytime I felt stress, guess what? Something went in my mouth. Whether it be ice cream, whether it be, you know, unhealthy stuff, just food. You know, that's why I am as big as I am today. Now I'm trying to change, and I'm not saying that I have conquered these things, because healing and recovery sometimes is a lifelong process. I still struggle with my weight, and still there are times when I get stressed at work or get stressed about something and I find myself going to the cupboard and I'm thinking, Tam, don't do that. Anyway, today what I do for stress, I have other options, and I try to use healthier coping skills. I might listen to calming, relaxing music in order to deal with my stress. I meditate. I do meditation. I might take a warm bubble bath because that feels really good to me, especially when you go in and you put candles all around the whole bathroom and everything. And that's a fantastic way to de-stress. And if you combine some of those things, like if you take a bubble bath with the relaxing music playing, and then you just sit in the tub and you kind of meditate, you can combine all of those things. And those are healthy things for me. It's a hell of a lot better than me stuffing my face and stuffing my feelings down. Anger. I talked a little bit about that, how that I used to use road rage. I used to throw things. I used to turn my anger towards myself by cutting and by doing those types of self-injury things. Today, I choose to talk about my feelings. If I'm feeling angry or upset about it, I need to talk about it, or I need to journal about it, I need to write about it until I can release those feelings. Sometimes you can use drawing. Sometimes I've gotten pen and paper out and pencils and crayons and everything else, and I have just got out the feelings. You know, I think I've talked about this in my anger videos. I had a 2-part series on anger, dealing with anger. And, you know, just draw, do whatever feels good. A lot of times I like to take clay and put it in your hand, something physical that you can manipulate and work with your hands. For me personally, anger, I need to do something physical. My therapist once told me that you do not have to do anything with anger except be willing to feel it. For me personally, it feels better if I'm physical with something. And it doesn't have to be destructive. It can be constructive. And using the clay ball, you know, just molding the clay, I'm just feeling that, and just, you know, just doing stuff. If you are into sports, go get a frickin' punching bag or something and work out. Do some kickboxing, you know, release the aggression, release the emotions, something physical. If you want to turn that anger into, you know, something constructive, you know, go out in your yard and dig a frickin' hole with a shovel. It's physical, and it's going to release the endorphins in that's in your body, that, you know, that comes up when you feel that anger or whatever. So you can do different things. Sometimes you just feel so angry. Some of the things that I do is I scream into a pillow. It doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't hurt anybody else. I'm not doing it towards somebody. But man, that feels good sometimes. And sometimes all it takes is me listening to some heavy-ass metal music in the car, you know, like crank it up and just scream and just, you know, let out that emotion. Man, that feels good. Those are healthier things that I can do instead of all the other things that I used to do. So there's no road rage now. There's no cutting. There's no, you know, any of those types of things. I'm not hurting me, and I'm not hurting other people. So that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. Pain and depression, I used to numb it out with drugs and alcohol. Today I choose to seek help. If I am feeling like I just cannot handle the overwhelming feelings of pain or depression or something like that, then I'm going to go and I'm going to see my therapist or talk to somebody. I'm going to communicate. I'm going to express that. I'm not going to stuff it. I'm not going to try to numb it out, and I'm not going to try to block it, because those things didn't work for me in the past. The only thing that did is cause more problems for me. So I'm going to try to be the healthiest that I can be by using healthier coping skills. That's what healing is about, and that's what I want to continue to do along my path. As I said, everybody has to choose their own journey and everything. So anyway, that's pretty much all I kind of wanted to say. As with any uncomfortable feeling or emotion, just like my therapist said, all you really have to do is just be willing to feel it. You know, if you can feel it, you can work through it, and you can release it. And see, that's the important thing. Once you are willing to feel the feelings, whatever it may be, whether it's grief, stress, sadness, pain, depression, anger, whatever, just be willing to feel it, allow it. It will not destroy you. I promise that it won't. It's just feelings and emotions. It won't hurt, and it won't hurt you physically. And just be willing to feel the feelings, process it if you need to, and then let it go. Let it release. I know it sounds simpler than it is. It's a hard process, and you know, until you continue to do these things, until it becomes familiar to you and becomes a habit, you know, you have to continue to do it. It doesn't come overnight sometimes, so you have to be willing to work the steps. You know, if you really want change, then you will. That's about all that I have. I just thought it was a good topic, and give me your comments, okay? Because I'd really be interested to see what you guys think about this topic, and if you have anything to add, maybe you have some good suggestions for healthier coping skills. Put them in the comments down here, and that would be good. Bear hugs, as always. See you guys.